Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And y'all know I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. And there is nothing like astrology to help us understand how to live our best goddess lives. How y'all doing out there? I want to talk a little bit about Kanye West today. Come on, y'all. We're going to turn it up a little bit for Kanye. Come on. Kanye needs somebody on his side. I am not a fan of Kanye, to be honest with y'all. I don't care for Kanye at all. But somebody asked me a while ago if I would look at his chart. So I said, yeah, I'm a woman of my word. And so and here's the lady who asked me. Shamika herself asked me to look at Kanye's chart. And I'm glad you're here, Shamika, because I don't really know much about Kanye, to be honest with you. I have learned a little bit about him in recent years. I was watching some Jamie Foxx videos and didn't know that they had a connection together. I'm not somebody who knows a lot about the stars. Y'all know I know a lot about Will Smith, Eartha Kitt, but for the most part, I don't really know about stars. So it was fascinating for me to learn a little bit about Kanye and his genius and how he came onto the set. So we don't have his time of birth. So, who knows? Yay. I'm a woman of my word, Shamika. I told you I would talk about Kanye. And, it's actually kind of good that I've kind of waited to do it until now because so much has gone down with Kanye. And as I looked at his chart, I was like, I can kind of see why Kanye's life is changing a little bit. So, what I want to start off by saying is the first thing that I noticed, because everyone talks about his genius, and he's really good with words. And wow, he has Jupiter, which Jupiter is actually not exactly good in Gemini. But Jupiter is pretty genius. Hey, Felicia, Jupiter is pretty genius, and so is the sun, and they're just right there together. Um, so I could see how he has potentially, just like, Gemini is words and then, the ability to rap. And I'll be honest with you, I do not know a lot about Kanye, but just a little bit that I can see, he seems to be really good at maybe not even just creating music for himself, which Gemini can be related to creating music because it's words, especially rap. It's like this blending of the music and the speaking, which is Gemini. And then he has two planets in Taurus, and Taurus is definitely about singing. So this art and using words, it's definitely something that is here, evident in his chart. So yeah, um, that is something that I noticed right away, and I was like, okay, well, is lining up. Another thing that I noticed too is right across from Jupiter and the Sun is Neptune. Now, this is not an easy position, okay? And what I think is kind of like evident in Kanye, even though we don't know his time of birth, we don't know what his rising sign is, but that sun being there in Gemini will make this, he's very Geminian, and we can look at this aspect as Gemini, which is words and mind. And then Sag, which is like vision and focus. And then he has Neptune there, music and art, and in a visionary type of way. Because I remember what Jamie Foxx said about Kanye was I think he called Jamie Foxx and was like, "Hey, I need you to come in. I got this song. I want you to sing." And, like Kanye has had these visions. Y'all can let me know how much of this is true. But he's had these visions of what even other people can do. Maybe like, did he take rap in a new direction? I remember when he first kind of came out, I listened a little bit to what he was doing, and seemed like it was unique. I remember when Jesus walked, and I just remember thinking, that is interesting. I don't even remember fully what the song was about, but there is this little bit of thing where it's something that is at odds. I don't know if it's kind of like an overload. Neptune can just like drown things out because it's the ocean. So it could be like he has so many ideas that I don't know, it could create like he might have like balance issues, because you can look at the aspects in his chart, and the opposition, he has two pretty big ones. It can create, you know, like this person will struggle with having balance in their lives. So I don't know a lot about Kanye, but he's extreme now. It seems like over the years he's gotten a little bit more extreme, and he probably does need to understand that part of his mission is to have more balance in his life. Hey, Azizi, how are you? Uh, I think he mentioned that he sees sounds. That would be it. See, I'm so glad Shamika is here, because the people who know how to fill things in that they know about Kanye can help me to make this come alive even more so. That would be that, Shamika. He sees sounds. That Neptune is like this, you can just get this download, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, that is like heavenly. Like this thing, he's getting stuff from, he's otherworldly. He could kind of, say, but to say he sees sounds, who talks like that? But that's how this could be playing out. But I'm going to tell you the other thing that I think about this. It's been talked about Kanye has mental health challenges. Now, I don't know if Kanye has mental health challenges. It's just has been saying that sometimes things that he does seems like he has mental health challenges. And anytime we have something going on in Gemini, it's something with the mind, and it's oppositioning Neptune. And Neptune is related to Pisces. And Neptune and Pisces, it could be like mental, something about Pisces has to do with mental health illness. Okay. Mental health illness is connected to Pisces. And look at this, Jupiter rules Pisces, is opposition Neptune in Gemini. In my mind, I can imagine that Kanye does have mental health challenges. This is somebody like, if he was, somebody who we just kind of knew, part of our family, part of our community, he would be somebody we were constantly like saying, we really got to talk to him about taking care of his mental health. Like we need to let him know it's okay. You need to take care, you need to go see somebody if you need to. So that's definitely something I would think about. And then he has Lilith down here in Gemini also. And it's like where Lilith is, it has to do with earlier in life, how were you disempowered? So, Shamika, do you know anything about synesthesia? Okay. I never heard that word before. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Um, So, what is synesthesia? Because when you say it, it makes me feel like it would definitely match what I'm seeing here, with especially with this Pisces. Asia is something like you're not feeling it or something. I'm thinking about anesthesia, but yeah, something is away, something is gone, and that would be Neptune. Okay, let me pause on the Lilith, because what happened in 2021 is that Kanye had this Gemini house activated along with this Sagittarius house, because that's where the eclipses were. So, and because these planets are in the middle of the sign, they were feeling that eclipse almost the entire time the eclipses were happening. I'm gonna just really quickly pull up the let me go back to 2021 and see when what degree were these eclipses on. So the first one was around, let's see here. The first one was there was one at 5 degrees of Sag. So that was going to be hitting up those planets because the eclipse can go out at least 10 degrees, right? And then the one in Gemini was at 19 degrees. So the first two eclipses of 2021 affected his planets. I mean, it was just like right there. There's always something about Kanye in the news, right? But I can imagine things started really escalating around Kanye last year, um, because eclipses will create massive change, and that it will exacerbate what is there. And there's the part of the eclipse that was like, let it go, release it, let it go, was up here in Sag on this Neptune. Man, it is an unraveling. Neptune will make things come undone. Just think about if we drop some salt, let's say it was, like rock salt into the ocean, eventually that salt is going to dissipate. It cannot stay together. The ocean being in that water is going to make it come loose, all the little particles, and it's just going to dissolve and just go away, right? So the part of the eclipse that was like, let it go, was on Neptune. Let it go, let it go. In Sag, which exacerbates everything. Sag just blows it up. And then it was opposition, this Jupiter and this sun, man. Whew, whew. I always like looking at people's charts because it helps me to have a little bit more compassion for them and not just look at them and their human actions. Because this is a very challenging transit. Because he was asked to go in one of two directions. Maybe people have been saying, "Look, you need to go get some help," and it's one or two things you're gonna do. You're gonna either go in the direction of the North Node, which is like going the new direction, or I think some people, they are not aware of what's happening and it just wipes them out. And so, to a certain degree, part of his extremism, I think, could have been like really kicked off with these eclipses. And is he religious? I don't know what it is that he has against people of the Jewish faith. Um, okay, so I'm gonna talk about why maybe he's been talking about, the little German guy from a long time ago. Okay, so let's just finish up. I don't want to forget to talk about this Lilith being in Gemini. So I don't know if he had, wait a minute, synesthesia, when you hear music, but you see shapes. Oh, okay. Or you hear a word or a name and instantly see color. Thank you. Did he have any mental health challenges when he was a child? Or it could be because Gemini is your local community. It could be something happened in his local community when he was a kid where it disempowered him. I don't know if did he have a speech impediment, because Gemini is speech. So, even if he was ingenious with this music and rapping and like what we're saying, hear music but see shapes and stuff like that, maybe he had a hard time in school. I don't know. I wish I knew more so I could corroborate what I'm saying, but I'm gonna tell you, Lilith in Gemini, he had some wounding around his gift. I can imagine. So I think that that's very interesting. I would wonder if maybe he is a maybe a Cancer rising. Uh, And even if we look at it from Pisces, which is where the moon is, it's kind of like, where's his dad? Because this is the son can be the dad. So where's his dad? Um, I would be interested to know what is his rising sign, just because that Lilith is there. It seems like his mom was prominent, but his dad wasn't, even though that's a powerful sun being right there with Jupiter. But dad is gone. Oh, Neptune will make things go away. So dad is gone. So I don't know if that's what that is. I don't know. Since we don't know his time of birth, I don't know if that can kind of indicate why his dad wasn't around. Um, so okay. He has Mercury in Taurus. Now, this is fascinating because Mercury is the mouth, it's the voice. Yeah, it's talking, and Taurus is the voice. And so, with his sun being down here in Gemini, and then he has Mercury in Taurus, it's like bringing together, blending those two. This is why he is a singer. Um, and then the other thing that I want to say about this Taurus house is that it's being transited right now because of the eclipses along with Uranus. So, you know, because Kanye has planets mostly in one area, so we have Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces, that's the direction of the eclipses. We're just going to continue to see changes in Kanye. Now, I will say he's being asked to go in a new direction. Like, this could be potentially really good for him. And I guess he is going in a new direction. But there are 2 points that are being eclipsed that have to do with wounding, and maybe he hasn't been ready to really do the work. I don't know, or maybe it just kind of made him pop or something. But his Lilith got transited with the last ones, but it was asking him to get healed up. It was asking him to step into his power, and maybe he feels like he's stepping into his power with some of the things that he's doing. But this Mercury got transited. The Mercury got transited at the top of the year. Actually, that Mercury got transited last year in November. So I wonder if something started changing for him then, like going in a new direction completely and totally. I didn't mention actually that his Jupiter and his Sun also are what are called trine to Pluto. Okay, it's not exact. Pluto is 11 degrees, and the Jupiter and the Sun are at 14 and 17 degrees. I usually do a shorter, like the numbers need to be closer together for me. But we're just gonna play with this, right? Pluto is power, baby. Okay. So I can see him being someone who's powerful, who's connected to powerful people, who knows their power through their voice and speaking and their words. Actually, it can really, like, Pluto is the energy that you can sometimes relate to um, highly influential people, very rich people, very powerful people, right? So we can see all of this evident. Pluto has to do with being a billionaire, millionaire. Jupiter is about abundance. The sun is about leadership, being a star. So I can see how Kanye also has in his chart, um, the makings of wealth. And it's through his career, which is that sun. And so, yeah, I don't want to miss saying that. Um, he also has a sextile from Saturn in Leo. Um, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. So, maybe, does anyone know, is he very disciplined? Because it might be he's really disciplined. Was his mom strict? Or maybe it was his dad, because Leo could be the dad. But um, I think that he probably, it does have the makings of being a master, because Saturn is what you master, but Saturn is not really that good in Leo, but the way it can be used to benefit is you just have a lot of structure, a lot of discipline. I think it can make him, really good as a producer or somebody who helps to make stars, but he might be kind of like strict or something like that. But, Leo is royalty. So, Kanye is extremely wealthy in the United States that I would consider to be kind of like wealthy. Um, so I think that's interesting. And it's all these planets of power that are actually connected in his chart because we can see Saturn is connected to his sun and Jupiter, and Saturn is connected to his Pluto, and Pluto is connected to his Jupiter and his sun. So Kanye and power. This is like something that he lives for. Um, Interesting. Okay, so he also has Chiron in Taurus. Chiron is a wound. And so these eclipses are activating that also. It's really asking him to get healed up. And I can tell you the another thing is Taurus has to do with money. So I don't know if this has affected him in terms of like this man believes in himself, so it's not his self-worth and self-value. I don't think. Y'all tell me what you think. His mom was a professor in Chicago. Okay. Yeah, I knew his mom was really influential, and it seems like he did really well when his mom was alive. Buenos tardes. How are you, Paulette? Um, but anywho, he definitely is being asked. It's hard to say. So if we look at this as Gemini is his number one house, one, then Taurus would be his 12th house. The 12th house from his sun, which would be the mental health thing is going on. It's something in his subconscious mind. Did he lose a sibling? Um, does he have, okay, so he got a divorce officially from his wife. Is there something about him and women with like, did she cheat on him? I don't know. But this is actually something that probably came from a long time ago. Something that has to do with women a long time ago. Oh, his Mars is being transited. His Mars and hold up. Oh wow, Mars is at 1 degree of Taurus. I thought his Mars was in Aries. So he's really getting hit up with the eclipses this year. But this is the part of the eclipse that takes you in a new direction. Like I like the part of the eclipses in Taurus. But if we look at it from his sun sign, it is in the subconscious mind, which would be kind of like, is what is Kanye being asked to do in his subconscious mind? Um, you know, Maybe his art would need to be going in a new direction, but it just sounds like he's taking himself in a whole new direction, which I don't even understand it, don't know what it's about, but um, we will see even more changes in Kanye because let's just see what got hit up in last year in let's see here. November, there was an eclipse at 27 degrees of Taurus. So that hit up his Mercury. And then there was one at where's the other one? The fourth, which is at 12 degrees of Sag. He just keeps getting hit up with eclipses right now. Um, and then next year, what's gonna happen is the eclipses when they move into Aries and Libra, we're going to see even more start happening because that's where his nodes are. And so this year, let's see, on the 30th, 10 degrees of Taurus. So that was close to his Mars, his Venus, and his Chiron. Trust and believe, I have planets in Taurus, and I'm telling you that these eclipses are hitting us up within 10 degrees of the eclipse. And then there was another eclipse at 25 degrees of Scorpio. And wait a minute, what? May 2022? 30, not, this is what? 9 degrees. Oh, no, no, that was Taurus. I was about to say, what? It's just so happens we had 2 new moons. One was the 30th of April, and then the other one was the 30th of May, and I was about to get super confused. Okay, so the 30th was the one at 10 degrees of Taurus, and then the 25th is like boom, boom, boom. So even though the Mercury is in Taurus, it was still affected by that eclipse. But what I think has made him kind of like really start going off the rails is, let me not, okay, that's being very judgmental. The things that we're hearing about him, I think, can be explained by that Uranus, which is at 8 degrees of Scorpio. And that happened on the 25th of October. So he has over here in um, Scorpio Uranus, and that Uranus has been hit up by the eclipses also. And Uranus just, it's, think about when we're like, man, this is just out of the world. Uranian people are like out there. And Uranus, it'll make things just all of a sudden happen. Like you can't really plan for Uranian things. Even if you think you're planning for it, it will still catch you off guard. It's shocking also. And Uranus is opposite. And again, these are wide, what we call orbs. 8 degrees, typically, I'm not fully counting that. But if we're talking about the eclipse, then it is relevant because we can use the number 10. So it could be like an eclipse at 18 degrees or 0 degrees. It's going to include that Uranus, right? And it will also include Mars, it'll include Venus, and it'll include Chiron. And so all of the things that we see about him where we're kind of like, whoa, what is going on? And then Uranus is like things that are broadcasted out. So what's being broadcasted out is the things that we're seeing. And now he did get liberation from his marriage. Um, so that's something I think is a result of all these eclipses being, he's the settlement is what I heard happened. Um, but it is still like opening up all of this. I have this opposition. I have planets in Taurus and I have planets in Scorpio. And it's like two things are happening. It's like this release. There is some liberation that he is being given. Um, this actually kind of reminds me of Will Smith, where I was like, it's probably some new direction Will is supposed to be going in. And um, this was the only thing, like having something shocking happen is the only thing that is really gonna it was like in his blueprint for this to happen in order for him to go in a new direction. So I kind of see the same with Kanye. Next year, the eclipses move into Libra and Aries. And so he's going to have a reverse nodal return. For me, the reverse nodal return was kind of harsh. Um, that reverse nodal return is what actually woke me up to astrology. Um, because it's kind of like making you look at, are you really doing what you came here to do, or are you playing? And it's giving you a wake up call, like get it together. So I do predict that we're going to hear more about Kanye next year, and the changes that he's making. Next year being 2023. So I just want to see how close to his nodes. So it's going to include his nodes. The first eclipse that we have in Aries is going to be at 29 degrees of Aries. So it's going to hit up his nodes some. We'll start kind of seeing, I think it's going to be a little bit of a devolution. He's going to continue to devolve a little bit. But let's see here. That Taurus one will be at 28 degrees of Taurus. I wasn't expecting to see that. 28 degrees. No, 5 on the 5th. Oh, okay. It's Scorpio. 14 degrees of Scorpio. The fall, I mean, the spring's gonna be real interesting with Mr. Kanye. Okay. Trust and believe. Spring 2023. Shamika, you and I gonna come back here. Hey, Latoya, we're gonna come back here and we're gonna talk about what is going on. Um, okay, so the eclipses are gonna happen earlier. Um, so it's gonna be one on the 14th at 21 degrees of Libra. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, next year we think we done seen some stuff happen with Mr. Kanye West. It's gonna be on and popping next year, okay? And then let's see, the 28th, 5 degrees of Taurus. Mm. So we ain't seen nothing yet. We ain't seen nothing yet with Kanye. It's just more to come. It's to a certain degree unpredictable. But the one thing that I know is he is going to be grappling with what direction do I want my life to go in? What do what do I really want to do? He will definitely be grappling with that. I do think that something about relationships will come up for him in a major way. It's interesting that the little bit that I did kind of hear about him through listening to Jamie Foxx is this topic of collaboration. So it may be maybe people he's going to reconnect with people he's collaborated with, or he'll be thinking about, I used to have these collaborations, and like, okay, I'm supposed to be collaborating with people. I think we might start seeing him like, I need to get back to doing that. Hopefully it's going to be, aligned with his purpose and take him in the direction that is going to make him money and have him be happy and fulfilled. If we just talk about his natal chart, we don't exactly know where this moon is, like what degree, but trust and believe that moon is Pisces. And I will just say Pisces is definitely, um, okay. Pisces is definitely a sign that has to do with art. A lot of artists, especially singers, have Pisces. I want to say, I can't remember, don't quote me on it, but it's either one or both of Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. I think they are Pisces. And Pisces is known for addictions. Um, Also, I don't know if Kanye has one or not, but it's when we just think about a lot of artists and addictions, it goes hand in hand with Pisces. Pisces is kind of like this escapist energy. It just kind of wants to be away. And, you know, it just is what it is. It's really and truly a sign that is connected to addiction. And I just think about when I used to perform as a dancer. I remember the day I said, I see how people who are artists get into addictive behavior, because you are on the road, you're constantly on the go, and you might end up taking, like, you have to get you sometimes you go on stage. Like, I used to go on stage when I really didn't want to perform, but it's my job. And so I would go on and I have to smile and bring energy, and it's like all this energy going out. um it can make you want to utilize, like, I used to be on caffeine in a major way, when I was teaching or performing dance and teaching dance and fitness. And I just was like, I can't even imagine being somebody who lives on the road and that kind of thing. Can't. But I'm a Pisces dancer. I've been a performer, if you can believe it, danced on stages and stuff. And so, for Kanye to have this moon in Pisces, it definitely can be artsy, definitely can have mental health illnesses also. And that moon is square, even though we don't really know what degree, it doesn't matter. Just from the sign Pisces to Gemini, it's a clash going on between like the inner world and what's on the outside. Is square is an energy of activation, and it's kind of like a little bit of a clash. Could be, there's this part of Kanye that's like soft and emotional and dreamy. Um, Pisces is also very compassionate, and it's clashing up against the Jupiter and the Sun. Maybe there's like one way, I don't know how to say this, but it's clashing against the Jupiter and the Sun, and it could be like a clash between like this inner world of being soft versus this world of wanting to be powerful, or having this urge to just like create all this, have all this mind stuff going on, and speaking and networking and connecting. It's some kind of a clash. It also could be something between his mom and his dad, because the moon is the mom and the sun is the dad, and maybe they clashed. Um, the moon, now, to know how important his mom is, and that she was a professor, that's very good, because sometimes a Pisces moon means the mama's gone, or the mama is mentally, like, she could be actually in a psych ward. My one of my sons has a moon in Pisces, and look, I didn't start studying astrology until he was about 16. I was like, "Okay, let me get myself together. Pisces moon." I don't want him to. I don't want to be a crazy mom. Which nothing wrong with being a crazy mom, but that's just kind of how it's like. I need to mentally get myself together and be the best mom I can be. My other son has the moon in Libra, which is good, but it's in the sixth house, so it's kind of like an oppressed mom, or a mom who is just working all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to be a better mom so my kids' moons will not disappoint them. So I'm happy to hear that his mom, he has this deep connection. I will say my son, who has a Pisces moon, like, definitely, we always kind of had this connection. Like, we understand each other, and I've been important to his growth and development. So I'm happy to know Kanye has a really good connection to his mom. And he has this Uranus in connecting to his moon, big degrees, but we'll go with it because it's the moon, which means that his mom rolled a little bit different. So, mom, he's born in the 70s, but his mom is a professor, not common. So, I love when I get hits from Uranus. It just zings me, and yeah. Also, coming from Scorpio, it could mean his mom was super powerful in his life, or she was just a powerful woman in what she did in general. Um, Now, I will say Mars in Taurus, I didn't talk about that. That can make a person a workaholic. I really wonder, is he a workaholic? Because I have Mars in Taurus, and I have to really, it's other indications in my chart too, but with that Mars being in Taurus, and because it makes you like have a battery that just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, because Taurus is the ability to have a lot of endurance, and you have a lot of output, physical output. You just want to do. A lot of people think Taurus is lazy, which it does, like, to relax. But when Taurus gets going, you're not gonna stop them. They're gonna get to the end, right? And it's an earth sign too, so it has this, like, this is about moving and getting things done and producing, right? So with Mars being there, it can make you like the Energizer Bunny. Um, I do love that he has quite a bit of it's called what, fixed energy. He has 3 planets in Taurus, and he has Saturn in Leo, and he has Uranus in um, Scorpio. So when you have a lot of fixed energy, it actually makes me feel like Kanye will never go away until Kanye dies. Kanye is probably always gonna find a way to stick and stay. Because that's what fixed energy is. That's one of the superpowers. The other fixed sign is Aquarius. Whenever I see an Aquarius, a Scorpio, a Leo, or a Taurus show up on the scene, I'm like, especially if I don't know, in what if I'm doing something and I'm like, I need somebody who's dependable. I don't worry about it, baby. I know they're gonna be there for a sister. Plus, I'm a Taurus and a Scorpio. So we are so faithful and just consistent. So Kanye will be around for a while. I honestly believe that. He also has quite a bit of mutable energy because he has this sun and this Jupiter and Gemini and this moon in Pisces. And so mutable energy is like the ability to take something that has already been created and make it better. It's one of the things I say about Beyonce. Folks just be getting so mad at Beyonce, saying, well, it was so and so's idea, or was from this culture and she stole it or whatever. She's biting off of it. That's what mutable energy does. We are looking at what is there and we just make it better. It's just how it is. I remember when I taught Zumba, I wasn't the best at creating choreography, but if somebody gave me a choreography, I could take that choreography and make it something great by tweaking it a little bit. Maybe I made it a little bit more afro, maybe I made it a little bit more simple, but then people would just be like, I love this. You're so good at choreography. No, I ain't. I'm just good at making what they gave me even better. So Kanye is like that. Um, he probably could be somebody who could just keep, like, he probably never even has to create any more art. He could just help other people create art and take what they have and just make it better, kind of sort of like a Pharrell. Um, and okay, so okay, but his nodes are in cardinal signs, which is Aries and Libra. And so, oh, he even has this Neptune in Sag, which is mutable. So, yeah, he's good at making things better. So, he has this energy and cardinality. So, getting things going, starting things up. Um, he's that's what he's called to do. And he does have the ability to see things through to an end also. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Michael Jackson has a Pisces moon. I'm pretty sure you're correct. Yes, that is right. Michael Jackson has a Pisces moon and Virgo. I don't know what his rising sign is. I should know this because I love Michael Jackson. Um, but even Michael Jackson kind of took some stuff. Like I think he emulated James Brown a little bit, but he made it so good that everybody's like, it's Michael Jackson. And when we see people do stuff, we're like, oh, he's like, they're trying to be like Michael Jackson, which he was being like James Brown. And then Prince, I think, had something in Pisces also. Pisces can make people where it's just like, this is like otherworldly good. It is like incredible. And it'll make you like go to another place and you become someone new, you become something different, you get away. And so this is why music is such a big deal with Pisces, because that's what music does. And that this is part of why Michael Jackson and Prince were, and we can see now Kanye, where this genius comes from. Neptune can also help with that also. um any questions that anyone has, let me know, because I think I'm getting to the end. I just saw this. Saturn trine Neptune. Okay, so another thing is this Saturn and Leo. Leo is actually artsy. Okay. Um, and so Saturn being there in this sign that has to do with arts, it really, Saturn is about mastery. No matter what Kanye does outside of the art, No one can say he is not a master at what he does. That is something that is correct. And that Saturn is connecting to this Neptune. And so, what Saturn does is bring stability. Okay. It really can bring structure and stability. So, that is how that Neptune probably doesn't just completely wreck his Jupiter and Sun, is because it's getting support from Saturn. Whereas Neptune is like, let's just go out to the ocean and it's just like expansion and no boundaries. Saturn is boundaries, baby. I wonder what Kanye's mom's sign is. Let me see when his mama's birthday is. That'll tell us a little bit of something too. Kanye's mama's birthday. What is this about the download? Like, what is going on with Kanye's mama's boyfriend? Kanye's mama. Dang, she died when he was 30. Uh, so she was Cancerian? Kanye, who would have been 71. This was in July. And she died in November 2007. Wow. Dang. Mama, I need you to tuck me in. Thanks, sir. I know your grandma had enough then. Why I gotta be so stubborn then? I'm doing this one for y'all so we can end racism once and for all. I can't really tell when his mama's birthday is. But anywho, Cancerian, that's a good mama right there. The Cancerian mama, baby. They're gonna take care of their babies. But anywho, somebody in his life was strict on Kanye and was like, you are gonna get this together. Kanye, you got something special about you, and you're not gonna F it up. We're gonna make sure that you use this gift. July 12th. Thank you, Sharmika. July 12th. Okay, so Mama was a Cancerian. That kind of relates to the Pisces moon, a watery mom. Um, the moon is Cancer. And so his mom could have had a lot. Like, if we're looking at it from his sun sign, it would be 1, 2, second house. So the mom has something to do with the money or his self-worth and value so that he can make money. I don't know what her position was in his career, but I always just kind of remember his mom was it was always like Kanye and Mama. We always knew something about his mom being prominent in his career. So I still would want to know, who is there somebody who was, did he have a strict teacher? Let me see if we can look up pivotal people in Kanye. Look, we don't even have to put no last name. Kanye's life. There's only one Kanye, baby. 14 most non-people who influence Kanye's life. Let's see here. Paul the Apostle. I have no, okay. Okay, really? The real apostle? Is this true? Kardashians. I don't know her birthday. Does anyone know? Is it Kim Kardashian that he's married to? What is her birthday? I want to know, is there a Capricorn or an Aquarius who's really influenced his life? Clarence the rapper. Interesting. Farnsworth Bentley. Okay. I was not. Okay. Ray West. Okay. That's his dad. The last time Kanye mentioned his father was on back in 2007. I don't know. Okay. God. I can see that. I can see Kanye actually being religious because of that Sagittarius. Neptune actually can bring up its spirituality. So Sagittarius, whether we want to believe it or not, is very religious energy. That doesn't mean Sagittarius is a religious, but Sag energy is very much about religion. And so I could see why he is always somewhere connected talking about God or something like that. Interesting. I don't know anything about these other people, but I just want to know, is there somebody who was like, Kanye, get it together? Okay, let me see here. July 12th, 1949. Huh. She died young. Wow. Okay. Yeah, she was probably late 60s or yeah, mid to late 60s. Dang, that's young. That's young. So yeah, that's a little bit about old Kanye and also what I see coming down the pipeline for him. Um, I think that we can expect things to be a little bit interesting, unpredictable. I okay, I am very Jupiterian and Piscean, and so even when people get on my nerves, because I typically say I don't like Kanye West. Um, I don't like his behavior. And let me not say I don't like Kanye. It's just like I don't want to give him any energy. I don't want to encourage his behavior by tuning in to stories about him or whatever. But who can get away from Kanye West, really? um, but even still, the Pisces and the Jupiterian in me wants to believe that we're gonna see a different Kanye um, emerge. I recently was listening to one of my astrology classes, and my teacher was saying, sometimes people have a lot in their chart that looks like total blessed energy. And there was this one person who came to him to get help who had all trines. So trines are these long blue lines, not the short ones, the long ones. And a lot of times people think trines are good, but if you have too many trines in your chart, if your chart is just too easy, then it could make people kind of like not there's nothing that really pushes them like the red oppositions and the red squares. They will make you like so uncomfortable that you like, I gotta do something, right? Versus the trines, if you have too many trines in your chart and not enough of the challenging aspects, then you don't live up to your full potential. In a way, life just kind of is so easy for you, right? So this one person he was saying had a lot of trines. It looked like this person should be doing well, but this guy was a pedophile. And the mother was even there with the guy, and she was like, your life has been great. But I think it's kind of like when we think about people who are so rich that they end up just doing stuff that's just like gross because they don't have to think about money. Money is not anything that they have to think about. They just can like create whatever experience, do whatever they want. And so sometimes we hear about, not with all people who are rich, but with some people who are rich, that they just start doing things that are weird and gross and, like taboo, whatever, unethical, immoral, all that. Um, and that's kind of sort of like how I see trines. And I'm saying all this to say that though I see that this could be something that could take Kanye into a new direction, take his life so that he can be more in alignment with whatever this next wave is, since he's going through so many eclipses that are like, hey, Kanye, let's go in a new direction. Um, one thing that they say about Hitler, I've never looked at his chart. I'm Pisces. I'm sensitive. I can't be looking at certain people's charts. But I've heard that he had a lot of energy in Scorpio. There was not, it was actually like a chart. If you look at it, it was not a chart that you would be like, oh, yeah, this person's going to be a dictator. It's not one of them kind of charts. Some folks just, they will take something very powerful in their chart and use it however they want. And Kanye is at that level. in life where he has so much money he doesn't think about money. Let me not say he doesn't think about money. I think Kanye doesn't think about money. Um, who was it? Dave Chappelle said, I don't know if Kanye was talking to him or if he was just heard Kanye say something like he doesn't wear gold chains anymore because he's a billionaire. Gold chains is for millionaire. So Dave Chappelle was putting his chain inside of his shirt because he was like, "Hey, y'all, look, I don't want folks to know I'm a millionaire." um, so he didn't care about saying things that would potentially cause him to lose endorsements or whatever this contract he had with that company, and he's paying all this money to this billionaire woman who's like an heiress in USA terms. Um, he's having to pay all this money for child support. I don't know if I don't know if Kanye has problems or whatever. We could potentially see Kanye have problems because Taurus is a sign that has to do with money, and there's this Chiron that's being activated, right? So it might be showing like where there is what's the word I want to use? This it's like a breach or something like that. It could be one little small spot where there's a problem when it comes to money and it's going to get exposed. Um, you know, during these eclipses. It could be something like that, but he is ultra wealthy. And ultra wealthy people sometimes, even if in the best of transits, a transit that could really be something that for people who are having to kind of be like, I got to budget my money a little bit. It could be something that could take us in a new direction and change our lives for the better, and be like an up level. He could take this and do with it whatever he wants. So I think the story will be told the most in starting in April. We might see it as early as March, April, um, into next fall in the top of 2024. So yeah, that's what I have, sisters. That's what I have about old Kanye West. There you go, Shamika. I fulfilled my commitment to you to talk. All right, Queen, thank you so much for making some videos. And just FYI, I am putting different content, maybe early release content, definitely my Mercury retrograde class, which I love, inside of my membership. So you can join the membership if you want to get access to all of that. And there's a video that I've scheduled to go out tomorrow, and it's talking about hypnosis. And right before this video today, I made a video that is along the hypnosis NLP line, because my goal is to start bringing more of that, integrating more of those tools into our goddess-centered practices. So yeah, be looking for all of that. Don't forget that, well, first of all, if you joined my moon class, I will be sending out an email soon to let you all know when we're going to have some Q&As. I want to do some Q&As on that class. Whatever questions y'all have. And then on the 6th, I am going to do the full moon live stream. So yeah. All righty. Yes, keep me going. Now, see, wait a minute, honey. I love me some Malcolm X. Okay, Shamika. So that one is going to happen. I love Malcolm X so much. Oh my gosh. Even sometimes I look at my glasses like, ooh, I think I'm Malcolm X. Anywho, thank y'all so much. Thank you for Alicia for, helping out with some of the details. Also, Sarah with the details, everyone who's here. This has been really interesting. I'm just like, okay, I understand what's going on with Bro Kanye. Azizi, yes, Azizi's still here. Thank you, Azizi. I appreciate you so much for the love. I miss you. All right, queens. Yeah, I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all.